Captain Profanity here. It's freaking late at night, and I thought I'd give you an anime review of Soul Eater. Thanks to SourceFedNERD and their anime club, I was turned on to this. Well, no, not because of them. I've actually watched all these shows before, but it was nice to watch them again because I really do like this particular anime. Once again, it's Soul Eater. It follows the story of some kids in this special school called Death Weapon Academy, and they all have super special powers, and some of them turn into weapons, and blah blah blah. So anyway, here's a synopsis of it. The first main characters of the first episode are Maka and Soul. Maka being a Meister who is able to wield weapons and all that stuff, and Soul being an actual a weapon. He's able to turn himself into a weapon. Now, the idea of it is that Death Weapon Academy is where Meisters and weapons seek to make a death weapon so that Death can use it. Now, Death is also a principal of the school of some kind, which is all sorts of freaky, all that stuff. And so, like I said, there's Maka and Soul. The second episode features Black Star and his weapon Tsubaki, and they're also got that whole entire relationship going on. Now, unlike what SourceFedNERD actually suggests, I wanted to watch 3 episodes, and I want to cover 3 episodes because you don't actually get all the main characters out of the first 2. In the third episode, Death the Kid, who is Death's son, is actually a main character in that one, and they're all sort of friends. Death the Kid actually has 2 weapons, which is pretty interesting, to say the least, and he has 2 guns, and that stuff like that. And those 2 guns just happen to be sisters, Liz and Patty. So, that's the quick character synopsis. The show, however, features a whole lot of really interesting intrigue. The first episode has Soul and Maka, and it gives some exposition about how they need to acquire 99 Kishin souls, which are human souls that have essentially turned evil, and they turn into monsters and things like that. And so they have to collect 99 Kishin souls, eat them. Well, the weapon has to eat them. They actually have this really neat picture of soldiers eating the soul. It's really fantastic and really neat. And so it's their job to eat 99 Kishin souls and then eat a witch's soul. In the first episode, they really bring that in with Soul having already eaten 99 Kishin souls, and they go to find a witch, and they have this really interesting battle with the witch, and the witch is always casting pumpkins and stuff like that. And the second episode basically has the same thing going on with Black Star, where he's trying to get some stuff, except that he's not so good at it, and all that stuff. And then the third episode with Death the Kid also does that kind of thing where he's trying to collect souls. But the thing is that that's not the main driving factor of what makes this show so fantastic. And it's hard to really put a finger on what makes it so fantastic. Originally, when I first saw the show, I was kind of turned off by the art style. The art style is very unique, and by all means, the main character, Maka, not all that cute. It was hard for me to kind of get into it. But after watching, I really started to really connect with the character, and I really start to feel for her. She's got a very interesting backstory with her mother and her father, having been the previous Meister and weapon that had created the Death Weapon, which is Death's actual scythe now. So now that they made Death's scythe and all that stuff, it's actually pretty fantastic. So she's got a really interesting backstory. I don't know much of Soul's backstory, other than he's kind of creepy and he likes to drool a lot. The neat thing is, with Maka, she's got this interesting father dynamic, because she basically hates him because he sleeps around on his wife, and now they're getting a divorce and all that stuff. So they have a lot of interesting comedic factors to all of it. What I find most interesting about it is that they have this relationship building up between Soul and Maka, and it provides a very interesting. You kind of think they're going to be boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic, and they really kind of play into it about trust and things like that. They even go deeper into what trust and things like that actually means in other episodes, but that's farther down the line and not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what makes this particular show worth watching from the get-go. So you've got some good action scenes, which is like, that's actually probably what sold me on it, because just the fighting styles and everything like that makes it a very interesting anime to watch, since it's very action-packed and it has lots of comedy in it. And that's kind of what drives different animes, especially when they don't have a lot of fan service, which this one doesn't. Doesn't really focus on it until the second episode with Black Star. They kind of give you a little bit, but not that much. And I'll get there. Now, continuing on with the first episode, though, you've got a lot of the fighting scenes. You've got a lot of comedy going on because they have this hilarious time trying to beat... Oh, no, I take that back. They do have a lot of fan service in it, all over the place. Because right in the first episode, they have the witch, who's super buxom and super gigantic boobies and super in the bathtub naked with a bubble bath. And yeah, that's a lot of stuff right there. So maybe it is all just about fan service, action and violence and comedy. So yeah, how can you not love a show like that? It kind of is everything an anime geek wants and what they need for a show to be awesome. The art style is unique. The action is driving. I think that's a good word to use for it. It actually makes you want to watch more, to see more action. And the comedy is fast-paced, and it keeps you going when it's actually present. And it actually will make you laugh, like verbally, not just kind of snicker, like, oh, that's kind of funny. No, like, you will actually laugh sometimes, which is fantastic. And, how can you not love it? Really, how can you not? Anyway, so later on in the series, you get a lot of interesting characters and more dynamics about weapon styles and fighting things and all that stuff. But let's get into the fighting styles of how everyone works. Maka uses a scythe. Soul actually turns into a scythe, who, when he gets angry, he's able to turn his scythe head around, which is actually pretty fantastically hilarious. But she's got this fluid attack style and defensive thing, and it's really, really fun to watch. Whereas Tsubaka and Black Star, the ones in the second, they have a very interesting way of doing everything, because Black Star is really a terrible meister, but at the same time he has this unique ability to be able to channel energy through his fists. They don't go into it in the first 3 episodes. It actually takes the 4th episode or so until they actually really dive into it, but they have this really awesome power move that he does. But on top of it, Tsubaki is a fantastic weapon choice because she's able to switch into multiple different kinds of weapons. Within the second episode, she turns into a smoke bomb. She actually turns into like a big old freaking thing of smoke. She's a ninja blade / shadow clone type copy thing of Black Star, which is pretty amazing as a decoy. And also chain scythes, where it's 2 scythes connected to a chain. And the shuriken and other things like that. So she's like well adapted to being multiple ninja type of things, ninja weapons. And Black Star is training to be an assassin ninja, but he's terrible at it because he's flamboyantly ridiculous with wanting to be super loud and noisy and proud, because that's how he is. He's very, very in your face kind of thing. It's hard to really describe people's character profiles for me. I have a hard time wording it in ways that most people will understand, since I relate it to other nerdery that people wouldn't really connect with. And I don't know all of the like tsundere and yandere and whatever the freaking Japanese words are. I don't know all of it. I'm like, hey, she a bitch, she not a bitch. That's all I know. I probably shouldn't have said that now, shouldn't I? Anyway, so Tsubaki and Black Star, they have a very interesting dynamic. Whereas one that's actually pretty easy for me to describe is Death the Kid. Death the Kid has a very, very driving dynamic, which is OCD. He's obsessed with symmetry, which only makes it even more hilarious since he's not symmetrical. His clothing is symmetrical, but his hair is not. He actually has 3 white stripes going across his hair, which is kind of neat, kind of hilarious. And, it comes in at certain times in the episodes. It was like, what do you care about symmetry for? You're not even symmetrical. And he gets all sad, he gets depressed. But it's such a driving force for him that he will actually leave combat scenes and fulfill his OCD because he just needs to. And the neat thing is that he's actually not super important for the whole entire fighting thing because his weapons, which are 2 twin guns who are actually sisters, they're essentially able to use each other in fighting scenes, which they do in the 3rd episode. I mean, normally he will wield them with his pinky, which is totally silly and absolutely ridiculous, but at the same time very aesthetically pleasing and looks cool. But there's no way you'd be able to do it. It just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. It's anime for you, whatever, Japanese. Anyway, but when they fight, they actually will be like bam, 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 and then they'll switch, and the other person will switch, and bam, 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 and it's really neat. So you've got ninja weapons, very in-your-face scythe style, and on top of it, you've also got gunfire, and all of that mixed in with all the witches and monsters and different fighting type things, including multiple different types of Frankensteins and zombies and all that silliness that comes with actually just death. Death has these giant white hands. I mean, why does he need giant white hands? Why? Because it's freaking hilarious to see him swat somebody with this 3-foot wide giant square hand. So, all in all, it's a hilarious show, and it provides a unique viewing style, and even the opening sequence where they bring in this really interesting rock band, which I don't know. I love the song though. I love the song. That's probably one of the things that sold me on them as well. So, comedy, interesting art style, music, a little bit of fan service, not too much, not seeing nipples and stuff, but whatever. I don't like too much fan service, so that's why I said it. I don't want to see gigantic nipples. It just makes me not want to watch a show because it brings scumbag brain and all that stuff. So I'm rambling at this point. So to summarize, I like the show. I've watched a lot of it, not all of it. I ended up looking at Wikipedia stuff for it, and there's a lot of interesting stuff in there that I haven't seen because I've never read the manga. If you like manga and you want to dedicate, a few months of your life to this particular manga, I'd say do it. If you just want to dedicate a couple of weeks to watching the anime, do that. But I think you should at least give it a try, because you should just give everything a try, except for Birdemic. Don't do it. Don't do Birdemic. But I'll talk about that some other time. You guys have some fun. I'll catch you later. I'll be doing SourceFedNERD anime clubs for a while. I'll be doing SourceFed movie clubs for a while, and also Philip DeFranco movie clubs, and talking about my own geeky things whenever I freaking please. So stick around. I might talk about something you like. Catch you later, people.